Hey everyone, today I'm making a Minion Cake from the movie Despicable Me. First, start out by making a 9x13 inch cake of any flavor, and then you're going to carve the cake to make it look like the body of the Minion. So to do this, use a toothpick, as I'm doing here, to kind of show the lines of where you're going to start cutting later. What you're going to do is cut out the corners and the sides, and on the bottom just cut out the corners and leave the straight edge as it is. Only take out about a ½ inch from the edge. You don't want to take out too much of the cake. Now take a serrated knife and carefully start cutting through the lines that you made with your toothpick. Now go ahead and remove the pieces of cake that you've cut off. Now you'll need 2 cans of whipped vanilla frosting. The recipe calls for only 1 can, but you'll definitely need 2 because if you don't have 2, you're not going to have enough to cover the cake completely. Now dump 1 can of frosting into a bowl and dye it bright yellow. Now you should put little strips of parchment paper beneath the edges of the cake to keep the cake from looking too messy while you frost. Now start frosting the cake with thin layers of yellow frosting. This is what's called the crumb coat to help keep crumbs out of the final coat of frosting. Make sure you frost all of the sides too. When you're done, put the cake in the freezer for 15 minutes and then do a second coat of frosting. Now make an upward curving line on the icing about 4 inches from the bottom of the cake. Freeze the cake again for a few more minutes. Now you'll need blue icing from a tube. I got this from Wilton at Walmart. Squeeze all the blue icing into a bowl, give it a stir, and then start frosting the bottom of the cake below the line. And also frost the sides. Now you can remove the parchment paper from the cake and then start cleaning up the edges of the cake with a paper towel. Now you'll need licorice lace. This is like Twizzlers Pull and Peel, only it's black. I found this in the Wilton section and it's called Decorating Candy. Now start outlining the blue frosting with the licorice lace, using a scissors to cut the excess off. Now take 5 Tootsie Rolls and mold them together with your hand to form a snake. You want it to fit around a glass that has a diameter of 3½ inches. My first attempt didn't really fit. It didn't go around the cup all the way, so I tried to stretch it out just a little bit more. And this time it went a little bit too far, so I just took a scissors and I snipped it. And then you just stick the 2 ends together. I'd recommend that once you start to wrap the Tootsie Roll around the glass that you should spray it with cooking spray first because it really starts to stick to the cup. Now coat both sides of the Tootsie Roll with corn syrup. Now you need silver decorating sugar. This is called cupcake gems and I found it in the baking aisle at Walmart. At first I thought that I would just put a few sprinkles into the bowl and then put the Tootsie Roll in it and just sprinkle a few more sprinkles on top to get it coated, but it didn't turn out well. So then I decided to just pour a ton of sprinkles into the bowl and then dip it in, and that worked a lot better. For the eye, you're gonna pipe on a bunch of frosting onto a York peppermint patty, and so I filled up a piping bag with some frosting. I'm using a number 12 round tip, and make sure that you're using a large peppermint patty, the kind that you find at the checkouts at the store. You pretty much want to just pipe on a really thick blob of frosting onto the peppermint patty, about 3/4 inch thick, and then just smooth it out with a spatula, and then push in a Hershey Kiss for the pupil. Now place the eye on the cake. Now place the Tootsie Roll around the eye. Be very careful because a lot of sprinkles tend to fall off while you're doing this, and so I had to grab a clean tweezers to pick off all of the glitter that fell into the cake. Now put 2 Hershey Kisses onto the blue part of the cake. Next to the silver Tootsie Roll, either draw 2 lines with black icing or use licorice lace. I'm using black gel food coloring that I mixed with some leftover frosting. You should use a toothpick to help you frost into the little small areas that's hard to get to. Now use licorice lace for the mouth and for the hair. Just use the scissors to snip off the amount that you need. And now he's done. Isn't he cute? I think this cake is adorable, and I think it's the perfect cake for any kid who loves the Despicable Me movies. Thanks for watching.